Have you ever felt so angry that your whole world turned upside down? Sometimes a single action can change the course of history. One moment of anger, one mistake, and a man's destiny takes an unexpected turn. This is the story of how Moses, once a prince of Egypt, became a fugitive and began the journey that would prepare him for his greatest mission. Our story begins in the land of the Pharaohs, where the mighty river Nile flows between the tall date palms. It is a land of great wealth and even greater oppression. Here, the Israelites toiled under the brutal regime of the Egyptian pharaohs. They were beaten, abused, and made to work without rest. But hope flickered in their hearts, sustained by the promise of a great leader who would one day deliver them. Meanwhile, in the heart of Egypt, amidst the luxury and decadence of the royal palace, lived a baby named Moses. He was not just any baby. He was the child of the Hebrew slaves, destined to become their leader. As Moses grew older, he learned about the hardships faced by his people. Though he lived in the lap of luxury, his heart ached for his people. He saw them suffer, and he vowed to do something about it. But how could one pampered prince defy the might of the Pharaoh? Then came the fateful day when Moses was strolling through the bustling streets of Egypt. Suddenly, he witnessed a scene that filled him with rage. It was a Hebrew slave being mercilessly beaten by an Egyptian soldier. The sight of the helpless man being tormented was too much for Moses to bear. He rushed to help. As the crowd watched in anticipation, Moses confronted the soldier. Words were exchanged, fists were clenched, and in a moment of intense struggle, Moses struck back. To his horror, the soldier collapsed and did not get up. Moses had killed him. Fear and guilt washed over him as he realized the gravity of what he had done. Quickly, he hid the body and fled the scene. The next day, rumors were spreading like wildfire. Whispers of the incident reached the ears of the Pharaoh, who was none other than Moses' adoptive father. The advisors were plotting against Moses, determined to get rid of him. Realizing the danger he was in, Moses fled his home, leaving behind the only life he had ever known. With the vast desert before him, Moses ventured into the wilderness. For 40 days and nights, he wandered, tormented by hunger and thirst. Just when he thought he couldn't go on, he saw a glimmer of hope, a well in the distance. As Moses approached the well, he noticed something that made him stop in his tracks. A group of shepherds were drawing water, but they were in conflict with 2 young women. They were trying to get some water for their flock, but the shepherds were preventing them from doing so. Without hesitation, Moses intervened. He drove away the rude shepherds and helped the women water their sheep. It was a simple act of kindness, but it caught the attention of the women's father, a man of wisdom and stature in the community. Intrigued by Moses' tale, he offered him a place in his home and an opportunity to marry one of his daughters. Moses accepted, and in time, he became part of the family. Over the next several years, Moses lived among the humble shepherds. He learned their ways, their struggles, and their hopes. And though far from the riches and power of his past, he found contentment in this simple life. Meanwhile, the Egyptian rulers, unaware of Moses' escape, continued their oppressive rule over the Israelites. The people cried out for relief, and their cries reached all the way to God. He was preparing Moses for his greatest mission! Each sunrise brought new challenges, new opportunities to display courage, patience, and leadership. And with each passing day, Moses was proving himself worthy. Little did he know that his destiny was about to take a dramatic turn. Stay tuned for part 2, where Moses' life will change forever as he receives his mission from God. What will be his first step towards freeing his people? How will he face the mighty Pharaoh? Find out in the next part of this epic tale.